Yo, it's your man C. Scott. Welcome back to this week's episode of Coffee Grind. Now, this week we're going to be talking with Coach Mike. Coach Mike is a breakthrough coach, and he's toured with the likes of Tony Robbins and worked with companies such as Audi, Honda, and American Heart Association. And this week he's going to tell us a story about the promise that he gave to his grandmother to help people change their lives. And we're also going to be talking about how in one moment everything can change, but also with one decision, everything can change for the better. And we're also going to be talking about the seed within you and how you have to recognize the seed within you and what you have to do with that seed in you. Now, those are some of the things we're going to talk about. Coach Mike talked about a lot of different things, and he went through a lot of different topics. But those are some of the key things that I took away from it. Let me know down below what you took away from it, and take notes, grab a pen, as I always say, get yourself some good coffee, because we're getting ready to get into this week's Coffee Grind. It's always good here at Coffee Grind. Get ready. But yeah, man, thank you for coming out, man. I appreciate it.
Man, it's, you know, at the end of the day, man, being down here in Jacksonville, Florida, during the holidays is way better than being in Chi-Town. Only because of the weather.
Right.
Now, you know, I love Chi-Town.
but the weather is much better here, right?
It's warmer. It's, you know, I'm a beach guy, so I like the sand, the water. I dig it.
Right. So, man, I don't even know where to start out, but you know what? If we could, man, because the one thing that kind of hit me was when we first met. We were only into a couple of weeks. But it feels like longer than that,
it does.
Man, because there's definitely a connection there. But if you could talk about, because we talked about how I was coming out of that kind of rock bottom moment last year, which you know, we'll be talking about videos here soon. But if you could talk about maybe your, like, you know, rock bottom moment coming out of that, and you know, whatever you want to share there, man, I think that'd be a good place to.
You know, it's you know what's really cool about that, man. To be straight up with you, is a lot of people see my success, and they say, "I want what you got."
Right.
Or I'll get, you got it made because of where you're at. You know, nice suits and, you know, the celebrities. And honestly, that doesn't mean a dang thing.
Right.
And what I mean by that is this. You know, I was at the height of my game in 2013.
Okay.
And I was at the lowest of my game in 2013.
Funny how that works.
In the same year, and it's cool how that happened. And this is how it happened. In 2011, I opened my very first gym. I didn't even have a clue on how to do that.
Okay.
And how that happened was because a tragedy happened with my grandma. You know, my grandma is my heart. You know, she weighed over 200 pounds her entire adult life. And when I got out of the military, I came home, and she was in a hospital room weighing 75 pounds.
Okay, wow.
Yeah, cancer had taken over her frame.
Oh, my goodness.
And they released her on hospice. When they released her on hospice, she was in the living room of her house. We couldn't even take her upstairs. And, you know, she was sitting there, and the only thing that can go through my mind was, how can I get off this bed, right? I said, how am I gonna get up out of this bed? And I was thinking of ways to help her work out, thinking of ways to eat healthy, thinking of ways to kind of reverse what had happened to her. But then she grabbed me by the hand and she said, "Baby, Grandma tired." And I knew what that meant, but I tried to not, you know, not get it. And she reached out her hand, and with the little bit of might that she had in her body, she grabbed my hand, and it was like pencils. And she said, "Make me a promise." And I said, "Yes, ma'am." And she said, "Promise me what it is that you want to give me while I'm laying on this deathbed. You'll give it to everyone else with everything you got until it's your turn to be laying on your deathbed."
Gotcha. That's
and
powerful.
then she died right there.
Oh, wow. That's powerful.
And you know, I went through my grieving moment. I went through my moment of being pissed off, doubtful. My faith was tested. And I was just like, why me? And, you know, after the funeral, I said, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm going to help other women not go through what my grandmother went through.
Gotcha.
And that's what really started me say, okay, how am I gonna do this? Didn't have a clue about business.
Yeah.
Didn't have a clue about, I didn't even have a clue on how I was gonna get started. I just I want to do something because my grandma said, make me a promise.
Right.
And I opened a gym that was an abandoned building.
Okay.
2130 South Halsted.
Okay.
South Loop of Chicago.
Gotcha.
Downtown.
Yeah.
And I went in there as a for rent sign up there, and I said, you know what? This is what I'm gonna do. I had $2,500 to my name.
Okay.
And I went in there and I said, this is all I got. And the landlord was like, look, this building is abandoned. You coming in here will help spice the place up.
Right.
So I went in there, and with $2,500, all I had, I wrote that check over.
Yeah.
He gave me the keys before any work had been done.
Right.
Because he needed me,
right,
and I needed him.
Right.
So it was really cool. Timing is everything.
Yeah.
And so once I got that key, I was like, now what?
Yeah.
You know, a promise is cool, but now what?
Yeah.
You know, and so lo and behold, within 6 months into opening the business, I grew the company to over a 6-figure income.
Oh wow.
But let me tell you how I did that.
Okay.
Because everyone has this it's a secret. I put a sign on the window, and on the window I said, stop in, and I did it with a Sharpie.
Yeah.
And I put it, I said, stop in, I'd love to help you not go through what my grandmother went through in her cancer.
Oh, wow.
They were coming in there thinking I was a doctor, a physician, a nurse, all the things you can think of in the health industry.
Yeah.
And I was like, no, I'm none of those.
All right.
I just made a promise to my grandmother, and she said, help everyone you can with everything you got, everywhere you go until you leave here. So I just want to help you and say, look, eat healthy, work out. I can help you with that.
Right.
And I'll tell you, they were so drawn to the fact that I had a promise to my grandma that they were, and now let me tell you something, women, they grow businesses because they talk they refer.
Oh, yeah.
You know, brothers will be like, this cool, maybe tell your boy, but that's it.
No.
Right.
They're telling everybody.
Exactly. So women were coming in left and right, my aunt, my uncle, my sister, and they was just like, you the one, the grandma, you the grandma, the grandson, the grandson, the grandma. And I was like, yeah. So they would come in and they wouldn't even care. All they know is like, look, I was referred to come here, and because you're keeping a promise to your grandmother, that touches my heart.
Right.
And so at a young age in my career, I said, wow, people want to lose weight, be healthy, but they're more attached to the story.
Right.
And I was just like, wow. So I just kept telling that story, and it just kept growing. Lo and behold, within the second year, I had to open another gym.
Oh wow, okay.
And then at that point, you can can go fast by yourself, but you can go far with the team.
With the team, yeah.
So I had to learn how to manage a team, and let me tell you something. I don't want employees because it's adult daycare. You know, trying to manage everything, and everyone has excuses, and it's just it was crazy. So after that, I was just like, you know what? Here's what I'm gonna do.
Right.
I'm gonna learn how to do this, and I'm gonna grow because I don't exactly know how to do it, but I'm gonna learn and grow how to do this.
Right.
So at that point, I got around people who knew more than me. People say, hey, how can you grow a business? And here's something. When you at a certain level and you got friends, when you go to another level, you get new friends.
Yeah.
Because those friends don't want to see you go to another level.
Exactly. And you have to have those new friends.
I had to learn it the hard way because I wanted to hold on to them. And so I got then I started knowing motivational speakers, inspirational speakers, success coaches. And there's one guy named Tony Robbins. You know, I got his tape.
I think I might have heard that guy before.
Yeah. You know, he probably got an inch on me, but we made neck and neck. So I heard about him. I started listening to his YouTube things, and I said, you know what, this guy's good. Next thing you know, he was on tour, came to Chicago, and there was a guy by the name of Scott Goss and Tarek, and Tarek I met first, and then Scott I met second, and then they came to my gym. They came to the area, and they was telling me about, you know, come to the event, come. And I was just like, cool, but I was impressed by them.
Right.
And I said, man, this is cool. This is what you do. They said, this is what we do full time.
Yeah.
And I said, you just go around inspiring people?
Yeah.
Now, I inspire and touch them in fitness.
Right.
I guess they do it in business or whatever.
Right.
So I went to the event. When I went to the event, it was crazy how this happened. I went to the event and I said, hey, Scott, I want to do this. He introduced me to the people. Next thing you know, I go there at the event, at the UPW, and I was interviewed to be a speaker on tour.
Wow. Really? Just
So
timing.
I sucked.
Yeah. Okay.
They said, but you have potential.
Right.
And I was like, cool, I can do this. So I went back to my team and I said, hey man, I'm getting ready to leave this in you guys' hand. The baby that I built from the ground up when I didn't have anything. I promised to my grandma, I said, I'm gonna go and do this because I just feel compelled to do it.
Right.
A few weeks later, I'm in New York on tour with Tony Robbins.
Nice.
Speaking to companies.
Right.
Then Jacksonville here 6 years ago. Then California and finished off in Texas.
Okay.
I spoke to over 4,000 people in over 300 companies in a year. During that time, something happened to me.
Okay.
And here's what happened.
Okay.
I neglected my business.
Okay.
I was growing I want to say, I was growing as an individual.
Right.
But I had to go through what's called growing pain.
Oh yeah.
And the growing pain is what caught me.
Yeah.
And I thought I was above the law. Things have been going great, making money, hand over fist. I grew so fast. I was just like, this is good. But there's things that happen in your life, and they happen in what's called seasons.
Yep, I talk about that a lot.
I was in my summer season. But I forgot about the fall. And then the winter.
Yep.
So I was out there doing whatever I wanted to do, making a lot of money, not thinking about the system or anything that was going on.
Right.
And my business was drowning. It was bleeding.
Right.
But because I didn't manage money well, I thought I can do okay, weather the storm. I was thinking about me. But what I had not understood is to have a business that you can walk away from and to venture into personal development, but then helping other people in another business, you have to become that person.
Right.
So I got to go to the next level, but I didn't grow to the next level.
Yeah.
And so what happened in 2013 when I embarked on that journey where I was going here and celebrities, pro athletes, millionaires, CEOs, I was the man.
Yeah.
But was I really growing?
Right.
I wasn't.
No.
I was just being exposed to what my life can be like if I became what it was I was to grow into.
Right.
So I just ignored it like what any people would do because they enjoy the hype, they enjoy the everything else. But what happened was my business soon started to hit rock bottom.
Gotcha.
I had to come off tour. I had to go back and I tried to salvage the business.
Right.
It got to the point where before I left, Bentleys, condos, cash, and we were doing very well.
Yeah.
I was living in my car 3 blocks away from my gym.
Wow.
And no one knew it.
Oh wow.
Because I was putting on a facade and I was putting a front like I was still the man.
Right.
And then eventually it got to the point where I said, I can't keep doing this because I got tired of it. And living in a car in Chicago in the wintertime,
Oh, that's tough.
let me tell you something, brother, it's cold.
Yeah.
So after that, man, I went through my birthday, November. Thanksgiving sucked.
Okay.
I went to Christmas time. It sucked.
You're right.
And I was just like, wow, how much lower can I go?
Right.
And so it was at the New Year's Eve, and I said, you know what? I don't want the next year to be like this year.
Right.
And so I was just like, I just need money.
Yeah.
And so I just wanted to go somewhere where I can eat food, because I couldn't even afford a cheeseburger off the dollar menu, but I'm promoting health.
Right.
And I wanted to go somewhere where I could eat, and it was warm.
Right.
So I went to church.
There you go.
New Year's Eve celebration.
Yeah.
I couldn't afford any other parties that I used to go to. So I went in there. It was Living Word Christian Center, Bill Winston Ministries in Forest Park, Illinois.
Gotcha.
Man, I went in there. I went in the overflow. I was like, look, I just want some money. I want to hear something that'll pump me up.
Right.
and I want to get up out of here.
Right.
I was sadly mistaken.
Yeah.
Man, I went through that sermon. He was saying, if you don't want 2015 to look like 2014, to give your life to Christ. Da, 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 da. And I was like, look, I ain't trying to hear none of that Christ stuff.
Right.
I just want Christ to give me some money so I can get up out of here and be the man that I used to be.
Right.
I was sadly mistaken.
Right.
So he said, and in my book, I talk candidly about this. He said, if you are not where you want to be, you're broke, you're living a life of shame, and no one sees what's happening when you're behind closed doors, let's make it right. Meet me up here at the altar and watch how 2015 will never be the same.
Right.
I was like, good
heart.
for these people,
Right.
not me. Because then people going to know I was a fraud.
Okay.
So I said, I'm good.
Okay.
He said, but now this second call is for the person who didn't come on the first call, and you know Christ, but you backslid and you're doing your own thing. And I was like, maybe I can go up there, because then I'm safe. Then people be like, well, yeah, we know you're Christian, but he make mistakes, cool.
Right.
But I still said, I ain't doing it. Then he said, I'm gonna give one last call, and this is called for that one person wherever you are. You didn't come on a first call, you didn't come on a second call, but you know you need to get your narrow behind up here. And I'm like, my butt is kind of narrow, and it felt like he was talking to me, and I ran up there, man. I went from overflowed outside into the main sanctuary, and I went up there and I'm arms up. Now they stream it, so there were people calling me saying, oh, Coach Mike, we saw you give your life to Christ. And I'm like, how y'all know? They said, because we streamed it, and I'm 6'5", and mostly everyone was under 6 feet. So there I was, and you know, from that moment, the next day, I launched my online fitness platform. Next month, I opened another gym. I was at 0% overhead. At the end of that year, I was debt-free. 2015, my life had turned around because I was following the principles from the Word of God. And it was like, how is it that I can lose everything in a year, but gain everything in a night? In a moment, from a choice. And that was my rock bottom, and how I've gotten back to this point and surpassed where I was. And it only came because I made a choice. And what most people who are probably watching your podcast, listening, they're looking for the secret sauce. Or they're looking for the moment. But I say, it's only a choice. If you're broke, it's a choice. If you're rich, it's a choice. If you're fat and overweight, it's a choice. If you're fit and healthy, it's a choice. And I put things in perspective, and I said, I brought it out here and I made it very small, and I said, it's just a choice. And I said, what's the only thing that God gives you?
A choice.
Freedom of free will.
Free will, you make your own choices.
That really brought light to some things, and it really opened my eyes to say, you know what? I was out here trying to do it from a choice that didn't work. And I made a decision, a choice to say I'm gonna do it a different way. And it's paying off dividends. And you know, a lot of people think you had to have the right moment or all the money, or you know, they have all these excuses. But at the end of the day, you can have your excuses, which is a choice, or you can have your results, which is a choice. And everything came to a choice, and choices come in seasons. You know, I came into the business in my summer season. I was sadly mistaken in thinking that all seasons were summer. And so that would really help me share with people, hey, look, when you go through seasons, your life changes. And look, it's wintertime. I can't take December and January off the map and winter will go away. It's still here. But I can change where I'm at, and it'll feel like summer, but it's still winter. So at the end of the day, that's the reason why I wrote the book, The Seed in You. And this is a good book. I wrote this book, The Seed in You, and I launched it last year because I wanted to share with people what happened to me. New Year's Eve 2014, 2015 was a breakthrough. And I was just a seed, but I wasn't in good soil. I wasn't being watered, and I wasn't nurtured. But the moment I was planted in a good soil, I began to grow. But when you begin to grow, here's the secret, or here is what people want to hear. What was the it thing? Well, the thing is, in order for what's inside the seed to grow out, it has to be broken. And that night,
and buried.
I was broken, and I was just like, wow. And from that moment, I said, I want to share my story, and I want to share the process of how to be broken for you to grow. Because when people hold a seed, if I said you're holding a tree to the person who never seen a tree before or see a tree but don't know where it came from, they would call me a liar.
Yeah.
But the thing is, in order for that tree to be a tree, it has to be broken from the seed. And people don't want to be broken. And what happens is they never grow. They just dry up and die.
Yeah. That's what happens if you don't break the seed and bury it. It's just gonna dissipate, and it will never be what it's supposed to be.
Never be. And here's something else with that.
What's that?
You can put a seed on marble, on a marble floor, and leave it there for 10 years. It'll still be that same seed. You can put that seed that's been there for 10 years in fertile ground, water it, cultivate it, let sunlight hit it, and instantly it'll begin to grow. Was it a seed on marble as differently than the seed it was in the soil? No. It's just it was given the environment for it to be broken. Right.
Absolutely. No, that's some powerful stuff. And absolutely. So much stuff to unpack there. But I agree. Seed's got to be broken. It's got to be buried. And with a lot of, and I always like to take that example, because I use that example myself. I always like to take that example further. It's like some people, it depends on what you see. Because some people see a tree, I see a forest. And then some people, and then on top of that, books, because you got to have the tree to make the books, and I see houses and all that kind of stuff. But nothing happens, like you said, until you're broken.
That's
and
true.
You're getting in fertile ground.
And you know what? I grew my garden for the first time, and I documented it on my Instagram.
Awesome.
Get Coach Mike. They can go into. But I grew the seed, and I realized with one seed, it doesn't produce just fruit. It produces more seeds in the fruit.
Exactly.
So in the Bible it says we're to be fruitful and multiply. Well, you can't multiply what you ain't got.
Right.
So when people say, I wish I had more love, well, you got to get love in you. You got to give. You can't give what's not in you. If you say, I want more money, well, you got to give money in order to get it. And then, everything in life that's living has everything that it needs in it to continue to live.
Yeah.
But it just have to be run, just like if a woman's pregnant, the seed is in her. Right. Eventually, that water has to break, and then the baby comes out. And any and everything that you do, and that's why I created the Breakthrough Summit, where people can come there and experience breakthrough. And here in Jacksonville, January 18th and 19th, I said, it's the new year. I'm not going to do it in the beginning of the year because I'm going to let people go through their same habits and patterns and see how their systems, their habits are starting to form. And right before that 21st day, on the 18th and 19th, I'm going to say, come here, get your ticket, come experience the breakthrough. And then the rest of their year will never be the same.
Right. And like I said, it only takes a moment. It only takes a moment to get that breakthrough and a decision and a choice.
And as they say in poker game, all you need is a chip in a chair.
That's it.
You don't have to have the biggest stack, chip in a chair. And you're in the game. So
Right.
Cool.
Man, that's awesome stuff. Now, of course, I know that you're gonna have this in your Breakthrough Summit. Have some stuff. But what would be the one thing that you would give to just like people? Like to kickstart their 2019, almost at 18.
What would be one thing? What?
One thing that you would give people to kickstart their 2019.
So,
one little tip or something.
The one tip is you have to have a system.
Okay. Yeah, I talked about that.
There is no secret to success.
Right.
There's only a system to success.
Right.
That's why I don't like to hear secret. And my ebook, if people go to my website, getcoachmike.com, I have a free ebook. They can put their email in and they'll get my free ebook, and it's called "There is no secret to success. There is only a system."
Awesome.
So if people just say, "Hey, look, the reason why you're where you are is because you're a reflection of your system. If you're broke, you got a broke system.
Exactly.
If you're rich, you got a rich system. If you're fat, you got a fat system. You don't need a rocket scientist. You don't have to go through therapy. Some things are common sense. What common sense isn't so common, and a lot of people don't want to share common sense because they're in it for the money. But if you really care about, and my promise is to my grandmother, it ain't about you or the listeners, it's to my grandmother. And when she was dying, she said, make me a promise And I gave her my word, and that's all I live by.
Right. That's awesome. That's awesome, man. Well, I know you're a busy man. I think you've got some appointments and everything coming up.
It's good being here in Starbucks, man. Give a shameless plug to Starbucks.
Yeah, exactly.
Coffee and a conversation.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
I like that part too. So you said it's a Breakthrough Summit?
Yeah, the Breakthrough Summit. If people want to come there, it's the Breakthrough Summit right there. It's January 18th and 19th. It's going to be at the Holiday Inn and Suites in the Mayo Clinic for day one. It's going to be amazing. Day two is going to be at the Dolphin Plaza. That's in Hanna Park. It's a secluded banquet hall that opens up to the ocean. And we got 2 celebrity guests. If you guys go to breakthroughsummit.org, get your tickets. I'll share with you who the celebrities that's coming there to sign autographs and say a few words. But breakthroughsummit.org, or they can call me direct at 312-281-1471 and just share with them that they heard about it from your show. And I got a gift for them for calling in, giving them how they heard it from your show.
There you go. Y'all heard it. I appreciate that, man. That'll be all linked below. I'll put a nice little splash page right in there. But yeah, man, I appreciate you doing this, man. Like I said, I know you're a busy man. I know you got some appointments that are coming up. So I appreciate it, man.
Thank you.
Yeah, no, thank you. I will be at the Breakthrough Summit, so just so y'all know, so y'all can come see both of us.
Come see the both of us
here.
And you know what?
I appreciate it.
I think when I come back in April, man, if you're up for it, I think you got some good material. I'd love for the people to hear you speak on the stage at the Breakthrough Summit. So
I appreciate that, definitely.
You gotta stay tuned. Yeah. This guy right here, he's on to it.
Well, I appreciate that, man. I appreciate it, man. Appreciate you being here. That's all I got for you today. Look below. Look at all the contents and all the connections and everything. Connect with this man. He's doing big things. And y'all know that I love connecting with people that's doing big things. That's what I got for you today. Leave your comments below. Like, share, subscribe, all that good kind of stuff. But I love you.
Oh, one last thing. If you guys want to get the book too, The Seed in You, Everything You Need to Know is already inside of you. It's my very first book that I launched last year. You can go to my website at getcoachmike.com. You can follow me on Instagram at getcoachmike. And I just want to leave that for people to say, I want to get the book.
Awesome.
You can get it there and hear the story.
There you go. So, but yeah, hey, like, share, subscribe. I appreciate you. I love you. Namaste, baby. Namaste.